Hello everyone, my name is Tomco and today I'm showing you how to make a button combination lock. Alright, so here I have a vault and a keypad. Guess what we're about to do? So if I were to put in the right code, which I believe is this, beep, boo, bat, and bam, our door opens, revealing our 1 meter cubed of gold. That's gotta be worth at least like $1 billion, surely. But anyways, once we're done messing about in our vault, we can click the big red button and that resets everything, closing our vault back off. And by the way, just so you know, if you do type in the wrong code, let's say instead of doing that, you did something like this, and then did that, yeah, that's not gonna work. This thing is very secure, I promise you. Oh, and you can also add more columns of buttons if you really wanted to. You could have like a 10 by 2 button panel. That's like 20 buttons and at least like 10,000 possible combinations. But anyways, the best part isn't how secure it is. It's actually how simple and easy the redstone is. But taking a look at it, you can see it's very simple and it's pretty much just tileable. By the way, I've now enabled channel memberships where you can get access to all of my world downloads, priority redstone help, and even choose tutorial topics. So if you're interested, there is a link in the description. Anyways, with that, I think it's time for me to show you how to build it. Alright, so you need a 5 blocks wide by 6 blocks long by 4 blocks tall area. However, this depends on how many columns of buttons you're going to have. So let's say you had 7 columns of buttons, it's going to be 8 blocks wide. You can do the maths. But I'd recommend you actually get your button bit in place, which is directly 2 blocks above the ground like so. It would be really annoying if you built it in the complete wrong area and then you had to move it. So per column of buttons, this is everything you're going to need. Now what I mean by that is that this is a column, so all the stuff in that shulker box over there is worth this column. So let's say you have 3 columns of buttons like I do over here. Make sure you get 3 lots of this shulker box. I hope that makes sense. And then as well as all of this, you're also going to need 1 lot of all of this. So this is just spare stuff that goes on the side of the columns, like all of this stuff on the outside here. Anyways, once you got all that, we can start. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do is you want to come round to the back of your buttons, and underneath, or to the back of every single bottom button, you want to place a dropper. Make sure it's facing downwards and make sure it's a dropper. So they should all look like this. You're down to put temporary blocks, 1 block above the ground like this, and droppers facing upwards on top of them. So fly up, look down, and place droppers facing upwards along all of these. If you destroy it, make sure it's facing up. Just don't destroy yours like I do. You can then remove these temporary blocks. You then come round to the front. Then underneath the droppers, put a block back. Then place observers facing towards you, like this. You can then go ahead and place in the blocks you just removed. You then come round to the back again. And then you want to run a redstone or an observer line going from the left to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4 observers like that. So if I were to update this observer, it sends a signal to all the other observers, which eventually send a signal to this block. And that's what's going to be resetting the bottom set of buttons. So for now, we're going to focus on these bottom buttons here. And now it's time to actually put in the code which you want your bottom buttons to be. So what my code is eventually going to be is this button, this button, this button, this button. But for now I'm just focusing on the bottom, so my code will just be this one and this one. So basically on the buttons you want your code to be, you want to place 2 blocks here, like so. So I want my code to be this bottom button, so put 2 blocks up here. I don't want it to be on this one, but I want it to be on this one again, so you put 2 more blocks behind this like so. So this one's part of your code, this one's not, this one is, this one won't be. Then what you want to do is you want to put comparators coming away from all these droppers like this. You then put repeaters in front of all these comparators like that. You then to get some filler block like dirt, and you want to put 1 item in all these top droppers like this. So basically how this will work is, let's say you activate the button which is part of your code, or turn off the repeater. However, if you were to activate a button which isn't part of your code, turns on a repeater. So what will happen is all these repeaters will need to be off for your code to actually work. As you can see, since I activated the wrong button, this repeater turns on, meaning the code will never be fully off, meaning the code will never work. I hope that makes sense. But for now, to reset everything, update this observer. And so now we're going to come round to the top row of buttons for the first time. So what you want to do is you want to crouch, and you want to put repeaters on top of all these droppers like this. And then behind the buttons you want to become part of your code, you want to place a sticky piston in front of this repeater. So of course I want my code to be this, this, this and this. So on the top layer it's just going to be this and this. So this button has to have a sticky piston and this one has to have a sticky piston. Like that. Then on the buttons which aren't part of your code, you want to place a regular piston in. Like that. So this one's my code, this one's my code, this one's not, this one's not. You then want to place 4 temporary blocks here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Remove all of these ones. You then want to do a similar thing again, but this time you want the piston to be facing the other way, and you want to place it along this wall here. So regular piston here, since these two have to match. Sticky piston here, since this is part of my code. Regular piston, because this is not part of my code. Sticky piston, because this is part of my code. So just something like this. Now it's very important that they match, like that. Then where you have regular pistons, you want to place a redstone block on the right of it. Then where you have sticky pistons, you want to place a redstone block on the left of it. So regular piston, sticky piston goes on the left. You want to come back round to under here. You want to place a row of solid blocks, like this, with dust along every single one of them, like that. So now we can actually test it out a bit, because this redstone line over here, this should only turn off when you input your only right code. So let's try it. So my bottom row is just these two and these two. Oh, I missed to click the button, it seems. Like that. And then my top row is this one and this one. As you can see, this redstone line is now fully off, meaning my code worked. But let's say we click a button which isn't my code, which I believe is this one. And turns it all back on again, meaning I got the wrong code. And then now we just have to make the thing that actually resets all of this. What you want to do is you want to place a row of blocks, like one down from this redstone dust. You then want to place repeaters going in a line, the same direction as this observer line is going in. You then want to crouch and fly, and you want to place observers facing upwards on top of every single one of these repeaters, like so. You then want to come round to the other side of your reset button over here, and place a sticky piston facing downwards. You want to crouch and place an observer going to the right like so. A block over here. A dropper down here. It should reset the bottom row of buttons. You then place dust on top of this dropper. A block here. A repeater going towards the back. With finally a block in it like so. So now when we click this, it resets the entire thing and looks really cool when doing it. So now it's been reset to how it was before. So the redstone block's on the right when it's just regular pistons, it's on the left when it's sticky pistons. Then this redstone line over here, this is where you're going to take your output from. So what I like to do is I like to just whack a target block on the end with a torch on the side of it. Then it's only when this torch turns on is when I've inputted the right code. So we can try it out. So I believe my code is this. So it should turn on, which it does. We can then reset it. And let's purposely put in the wrong code. Like that. Yeah, it is not turning on. And we can just reset it again. So let's say you were to link this thing up into a door. You're going to take the output from this torch, which can be on either side by the way. So you could also have a torch over here, like so. It does the same thing as long as you link it up to this redstone line. Anyways, with that is the tutorial done. Thank you all very much for watching. Any questions, please let me know down in the comments or my Discord server. But that's all from me, and I'll see you all later. Have fun with your new button combination lock. Bye.